For those of you who have been intrigued by the hotbed greenhouse, the self-heating $100 greenhouse, I do have the plans up and ready on my Etsy store now, and I'm excited to see if you guys like them. If you do like them, make sure to leave a review. If you don't like them, please send me constructive criticism, as this is a first draft for me. But this is what it looks like. It's totally working in freezing weather and growing tomatoes and celery and all sorts of things in there. Alright, this bed is 2 pallets long and 1 pallet across. And I have a 25-foot soaker hose. I loop it back and forth so that it goes through the bed 3 times. I use these extra long fabric pins to hold it down. I always run water through a hose before I attach it to a soaker hose. The reason for that is if there's any debris in the hose, it'll clog that little hole in the soaker hose. So I've already cleaned this hose out. So you never want your soaker hose on the ground. You always want it in the bed, which means that you need to have solid hoses that are running along the ground, otherwise it wastes your water. Alright, so the green hose is the main hose that's coming off the pump. This hose is going to go from this splicer to the next bed and water that bed too, so they'll both be watered at the same time. I try to keep the solid hoses out of the way of the path because if people trip on them, they'll jerk the soaker hose and then it won't work anymore. It can break the soaker hose, but at the very least it'll shift it. It's always easier to set up a soaker hose once there's water in it because it holds its shape better. And with soaker hoses, you kind of have to be precise about placement. Soaker hoses don't work as well with broadcast seeding because you'll have a lot of seeds in between the hoses. They don't get it watered as well. So right here I was a little deliberate about how I planted. It's on the side of the potatoes and then it'll run along the sides of the strawberries that I replanted. Alright, once again, all the hotbeds are connected by hoses and splitters so that when I turn the pump on, all the hotbeds get watered at once. So I wanted to come in and show you what we got. We've got onions, but in the last video I was showing you planting the potatoes. So I wanted to show you the potatoes. And you can see a little bit of the wool. I need to go turn the water on. I'm a little concerned about turning the water on because it's so cold outside, but there's mushrooms, there's tomatoes. I don't know how well the tomatoes are going to do. They don't really like being in these. Oh, here's another potato. If you put a milk jug over them, they do even better. my untidy table, my really big garlic, my wheat from what the ducks were eating here in the winter. Anyway, I wanted to show you, this is onion. I don't know what's under here. Dill. Greens. So right now I am harvesting out the radishes for the rabbits. And I do need to go turn the water on, because what I can see is this light color of soil on the top. Even though there's water underneath, the fact that it's a light color on top tells me that I need to water again. Just because it's a massive bed of compost. It takes a little bit of water to keep things going. This is a kudzu, for those of you who want to freak out about that. There's no way it would survive outside. There's nothing for it to get connected into that would allow it to survive here. But the potatoes are beautiful, and it is April 4th. Our last frost date. Our last frost date is June 28th. The last few years we've had a really good frost the end of June. So by the time we get into, you know, end of May, we'll have some spring potatoes that we can eat. So anyway, there we go. Freezing temperatures at night, frequently freezing temperatures during the day. And everything is doing just fine. And the rabbits are eating quite well off the radishes that I'm pulling. What are you doing?
I am about to go fertilize the onion.
Yeah, you better think twice, buddy. So we're training him not to hurt the other animals. It has a vibrate option here at the top and a shock option at the bottom. We generally use the vibrate option. See if he's going to go after the kitty. We don't go after the kitty. All right. All right, go ahead. So we're just fertilizing the onions. Nothing else in here really needs fertilized. This is what I use when I plant, is just a normal slow release fertilizer. But I don't remember. Did you just toot? I don't remember who said this on my live stream. I think it's Prairie. It's Prairie. I'll have to go look it up. It's Prairie something. She told me that I need to water, fertilize. She said I need to fertilize the onions every 2 weeks in order to get big onions. All the onions. I do have a couple onions in here, not very many on this side, so make sure to give that to them too, okay? And we are solidly freezing at night. We have to wait until it's quite warm before we can water anything because our hoses are frozen.